this really true? Is this really happening? Are we really getting all three of us on a single screen at the same time? No way.
It's happening.
It's happening?
It's happening.
Okay. All right. Well, since it's happening, then I better do the intro. Because
it's probably a good time for it.
Okay, because otherwise people are going to get bored real quick. So welcome to Law Firm Fixers, the show in which we fix all things law firm, whether it's from your marketing to your operations. We take it apart and give you some useful stuff. And as always, I am joined by Genie Lutz and Yellin. I'm Raj Jha, and hello. And today we're going to be talking about, Genie, what are we going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about the importance of creating a law firm marketing plan. Did I say the bad word? Did I say marketing? No.
Yeah, well, I actually think it was the 4-letter word that you used. 4-letter word. You know that's a dirty word, Genie.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Today we're going to talk about law firm marketing plans, the importance of them, how to target, all that kind of stuff. Yes. Marketing is something lawyers need to do, but marketing without a plan, craziness, I think. Don't you, Raj?
I think so. And the best thing about planning is that if you do it right, it makes the doing so much easier. So much easier. So I was, this past weekend, I was actually with my older daughter, and we were trying to hang some skateboards on the wall because she painted some skateboards. And I was teaching her the importance of the whole measure twice, cut once thing, because we were cutting wood to the back to mount it. And it was a big, like, how are we going to do this? Let's measure everything first, because she, of course, just wanted to rush and use the miter saw because it's fun. It's like, ooh, a saw. So I was like, let's slow down. Let's measure. Let's do that. And guess what? It's the same thing here. Otherwise, we would have a bunch of random pieces of wood and it wouldn't work together. Same thing with a marketing plan. So that's I think, like a big point, which is, you plan about so many of the things about the strategy for your clients, or a negotiation strategy, or how you're drafting something, and you're very careful about that. But somehow, marketing plan, not so much.
The devil's in the details, Raj. Come on. We can be incredibly dedicated and on task and on schedule for certain things, but why would that translate to what makes the firm money? I mean, come on.
The magic money fairy will come, right? It's
absolutely. That's crazy. So
do you think people, law firms in general, don't create plans because they don't like marketing, or because they don't like to plan? I've always wondered which, is the devil, I mean, as you say, the devil's in the detail, but is it just the antithesis, the hate of needing to get yourself out there in front of people and selling yourself? Or is it the detail in the plan? I've never quite gotten to the bottom of that.
So in my practice, I think it was a bit of both, right? It's like the crisis du jour is a client crisis, right? And then now you have to take time outside of it, and you haven't even thought about it. And now if you set aside some time and you do it, and like all of a sudden, well, what is this plan? What goes into a plan? What do I do? Oh, this is hard. I guess maybe I'll just make some phone calls today. And you make some phone calls today, but you don't have the discipline because you don't have the structure to plan. So I think it's just one of those things that if it's not fundamental to what you do today, day to day, it's hard to do. I mean, let's just call a spade. We're a firm that helps with marketing. And for us, we have to very carefully focus on it for ourselves, let alone professionals like attorneys who are dealing with 90% of their time being on billable work.
Yeah, I think I fall on like the fear factor. I think it's the great unknown. It's, if I'm going to spend time on something, I'm going to spend time on a billable hour that's going to make me money. And it's if I spend time writing a blog piece, if I spend time making a video, if I spend time, doing whatever, discipline it may be, what's in it for me, which I think is actually a perfect segue. I didn't even mean to do it. I'm not known for those, but
every once in a while,
what's in it for me?
Even a broken clock like Ross is right twice a day.
Exactly. What's in it for me? I think that's I think part of the problem, right, the fear factor, is not knowing where to begin.
It's the measurement, but more importantly, it's targeting the audience, targeting the message, targeting the medium. There's so many different elements of targeting. So if you were a Bozeman, Ross, where would you hit? I mean, where do you focus first in your marketing plan?
First thing I would focus, the what's in it for me. I always think, anytime I'm going into, down the marketing pathway, I always want to have that question just on repeat in the back of my head. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? And not me as the, as the attorney, me as the potential client. What am I offering, and how am I answering that question for the person that I'm reaching out to, or I guess conversely said, the person that I hope will reach out to me and hire me as an attorney, right? So I think always having that question on repeat in the back of your head, critically important. But first of all, in the shoes of the attorney, who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to be answering that question for? Who do you want to be calling you on the phone, and really taking a critical look of, of the landscape? So, I practice in real estate, and I practice in estate law. Who am I making more money from? Critical question. All of it comes down to dollars, right? Who am I making more money from? And then where am I going to find those people? And how can I teach them something new, or confirm something for them, or, perhaps confirm that I'm the right attorney for that person? What's in it for me? That's what everybody is out on the internet, searching for. They're asking questions to the great gods of Google, searching for an answer of, this is what I need to learn. And so how do we answer that question for them? We start by putting ourselves in their shoes. What are they looking to learn?
Interesting nuance there, that near me concept, right? Because you didn't actually sort of say that when you were talking, but when you talk about the wonderful monster that Google is, it's not just the message of who you're looking for, but just assume that people are on their phones, and the near me is an automatic, right?
Yeah, for any consumer practice, definitely. But this applies to every kind of practice, right? Because it's always about them, right? So if our marketing, for instance, was all about us, that would be not terribly effective, because then someone would get to know Ross and just realize, how terrible he is and not want to work with us, right? So clearly it has to be about them and their solution.
This is Zoom. I can just hang up here.
You can. You're not gonna. You're gonna sit here and take it. No, but I think that's the liberating thing about doing it right, is it's not about you, right? Because and this is such a lawyer thing, the whole ego in marketing, right? Whether it's you have a big ego or you don't, you just want to be more of the wallflower. If you reframe the whole thing as, it's not about me, it's about how do I educate and motivate people to solve a problem, and how can I be then one of the vehicles to getting there? Whether or not they retain my firm, as long as they're retaining somebody to get to a result, as long as they're better off from the marketing, then that reframe really helps you. It's like, how much good can you do in the world? These people need help, otherwise they wouldn't be calling attorneys. So if you change it into educational-based marketing in that sense, which, guess what? You're watching educational-based marketing. You're going to learn some things about targeting and all that here today with us. That's the same thing. And then maybe, the client will, take that next step because you've provided them a way to do so. So I think that reframe is really important, just from the getting in the right headspace about marketing.
Was that the red headspace or the right headspace? Critical.
The red headspace might be a little different. Yes.
You don't want to be the redhead.
If your target client is only redheads, you might have a much narrower pool.
We may not be able to help you, but perhaps we can.
It's like the intake form on the website is like name, phone number, hair color,
genetic traits.
Exactly.
Yeah, we should also talk this thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. We should let's talk a little bit, because we want to be pretty concise, right? And really get down to the hard bit. So we talked about, it's not about you, the attorney or the firm. It is about the prospective client and the client, right? So that's what's this stuff about. But let's talk a little bit about, how do you get the attention of these people by being in the right place, the right kind of message. Jeannie, you want to talk a little bit about where the marketing should go?
Sure. I think historically people have thought, oh, I'll just create a blog, I'll stick it on my website, we're done. But you know, in today's world, you actually have to intersect your message with where people are. And that is very likely not your website. I mean, certainly they're in Google, and you might be lucky enough to be high enough up in the search engine, you'll be found that way. But literally don't stop there. Think of all the platforms that you own, some that you don't. Look at places where people that you want to connect with are congregating, and spread your message there. Social media, all different platforms, YouTube, you name it, discussion groups, discussion forums, you know, newsletter, you know, newspaper sites, wherever the message is going to connect with your natural audience is a great place to spread for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And your audience is based on who your ideal client is, right? So, you know, I've heard of a firm from reputable sources that did nothing but Instagram marketing, believe it. Instagram. They're just posting on Instagram, and it's a trust in the states practice. And I think they generated over $100,000 in new business each year just off of Instagram by posting on what you think is like, oh, it's a picture site. No, it's a place where people go, and those people can be clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's connecting the dots, right? If you're trying to force people to find you, to come to you, how likely is that to happen? But if you go out and you find people where they already are, I mean, come on, if they have the issue and you hit it, you know, spot on, right? I mean, you know, they need the help, they're picking up.
So it goes from the whole process, right? So who are they? Who are your ideal clients? What's really motivating them? Why are they calling? What's their state of mind? Like, what do they want to know? What do they want to feel? What do they need to believe in order to retain the right attorney? And then where are they? And so then you've got your market, like who they are, and you've got your message, which is what you're saying. And then you've got the medium, which is where you're getting them, which could be LinkedIn, which could be a newspaper. It doesn't matter. There's a bazillion media. But if you have that triangle, those three, and I can't take credit for the triangle, that's a Dan Kennedy concept. But if you have all three of those, then you're set, right? At least from a conceptual standpoint. Then all you have to do is actually go and create marketing for that person with that message in that medium.
Consistently. I think that's the important piece, right? Because you can't just throw a message out there, hope to land a fish. It doesn't work that way. You have to, you know, identify the key messages and then just perpetually generate high quality, high intent content over time. Because, and I think that's kind of an epic failure of many law firms, is they're like, I'm going to write this absolutely essential piece that's going to be read by everybody, and I'm going to spend 20 hours writing this one piece, and it's going to be an epiphany for anybody that it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, it is in today's world. Marketing is in part a volume game. It really is, and you will get more out of doing. And lawyers are going to hate this. Doing an 80% job and promoting that all over the place on all different media. You will do better than making one seminal piece that could make your career. That was a great concept 30 years ago when there wasn't that much content. There wasn't that much out there. There wasn't so much noise. Now it's about process, and it's about getting a bunch of stuff out there, even if it's not perfect.
Well, I mean, it's all about being the loudest voice in the crowd. Something I've never had a problem with.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably blowing people's headphones out right now, but it's all about being the loudest voice in the crowd. How are you going to be heard? What differentiates you? You know, someone once told me, you know, if 10 people walk into a bar and one guy walks in with no pants, who's the guy that you remember? Well, you know, you might not be remembering the guy with no pants for
good. How'd that go, Ross?
You don't know if am I wearing pants now?
Exactly. Ross, we really need to talk about your tactics about marketing for us. I will say that's not the best way to get new business.
I'm memorable. But I mean, you know, you get the point. You get the point. You know, it's about being memorable, and it's about, you know, answering that question. Ultimately, I think we can, you know, comes right back to it. Answer the question of, you know, that prospective client. What's in it for me? What am I learning? You know, what differentiates this attorney from the next one? And making sure that at the end of the day, they feel, you know, validated in making the decision to pick up the phone, call you, and hire you to help them get through, you know, whatever the case may be.
Right. And also remembering that for most of the time, it's not a single decision and a single marketing piece that makes someone do something. So for a few practice areas, there's severe urgency, right? Like a DUI or something. There's severe urgency. But for most practice areas, consumers are doing their homework. And so again, if you put out that one seminal piece, they're going to read it and they're going to make, okay, and then going to go on to the next lawyer they're looking at, and it's like, oh, well, this person is putting out a new article every week, and you can read a little more. Maybe you can see a video of them. You'll get to know them as people, as professionals, better than just that one technical piece. And again, you might not like it, and especially, I mean, there's so many lawyers that we meet, and they're thinking about, can I just make one thing a quarter and it just have it be really great? You know, you can. Your odds are pretty bad, but so it is about consistency.
Absolutely. It's definitely about consistency. And, you know, to that end, it's about accountability, holding yourself accountable. Or if you're not good at that, have someone else hold you accountable. Tell, you know, one of your partners, tell your paralegal, tell your office admin, you know, hold me accountable. I want to do this every 2 weeks. If you don't see something, maybe don't come charging in my office, because offices don't exist these days.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you know, come knock on my proverbial door and you know, sit me down, make me do it. You know,
it's actually a good point. I think you know, maybe that's a lesson is, you know, literally schedule time in your calendar once a week, twice a week, to really focus on this. If you don't have a set meeting, if you don't have free space, if you don't have headspace, it never gets done. This is not something that comes naturally. So do take the time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, schedule 30 minutes, schedule an hour, and set time aside to really do this, or it will never get done.
Yeah, and also the point, don't just start doing, right? Because action does have a ton of value, but you have to be doing the right things, because if you're not doing the right things, you're just spinning your wheels, right? So again, thinking about that ideal client and generating an ideal client profile, and then all of that, that's a lot of the work that if you're working with a more sophisticated marketing team, they'll force you to do, and there's a reason for that, right? We don't proceed with marketing.
Sophisticated marketing team. Do you know anyone?
No, I don't. No,
Genie?
definitely not. Well, there's this guy that runs around with no pants, but I do not recommend it. It's really disturbing.
But he gets the job done.
Depends on what that job is.
But in seriousness, if you guys are listening and you've gotten this far of the way through and you want some advice, we actually have some free tools that will help with marketing plan creation. Highly recommend them. We've explained, you know, the who, what, why, audience, you know, messaging, clarity, all of that, what's in it for me. But we do have a whole range of tools that will help people start down this pathway. And we, you know, definitely, I mean, don't need to use our tools. There are other tools available, but ours are tried and true and tested. They work. You know, definitely look us up.
And here's the thing, no hard sell here, right? Seriously, we practice what we preach. If you just you want to reach out and say, hey, saw this episode, interested in what resources you have, we are always happy to have a conversation, because we don't take on every client that comes through the door. There are clients that are better fits than others. So you know, what's important is really the intent behind this, which is we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing for your practice and for yourself. So just reach out to us. We're happy to hook you up with whatever resources that we have that fit your situation.
Yeah, right on the website. You can actually book a meeting directly with me, and I promise.
And he'll send you to me.
I promise.
Exactly.
I'll wear pants.
All right, so I think that does it. I think we're at a good plot. We've given folks some pointers on where to head with this. Any parting thoughts?
No, can you do the close again, Ross? Because I interrupted you, and I think we need to do the close.
Yeah, I think we nailed it.